Welcome to another episode of The Profile. I'm Gary Dunn. Tonight on the couch, or the chair, we have Mr. Tim Count. How are you, Tim?
I'm very well, thanks, Gary.
Good to see you, and really nice to have you in here.
Thank you. Great to be here.
Cool. Look, I'll start with where were you born?
I was born in a country town in Victoria called Seymour.
Seymour.
I sort of brag about that a bit, but then I actually went back there a few years ago. And
To see more.
To see more. And I wish I'd seen less.
Okay.
I don't really, I've now said it, but I usually just say Victoria now.
Yeah.
But it's not, it's
Not what it used to
not what it used
you
to
remembered.
be when I was 0. Yeah.
It's funny when you're young, you have these visions, and
Yeah.
then you go back and it's really just visions.
Well, it was the closest town to Puckapunyal, which is an army.
Yep.
So that's where you get born
Yep.
when you're an army brat,
All
which
right.
is what I was.
Your father was in the army?
Yeah.
Yep.
And so from Victoria, then it was as all army people do, they get transferred state,
Yep.
England.
Yeah.
So
you were like
every 3 years.
Yeah.
Every 3 years. Yeah.
I had a guest on the show last week who played in Vietnam, I think.
Oh, well, my dad would have been
Eddie?
there.
Yeah.
He would have been there.
Yeah.
He was there 69.
Yeah.
So he would have
Yeah.
been.
Eddie Storm would have been entertaining your dad, I'm sure.
Yeah. Well, he was military police, so he was probably arresting pot smokers.
So we all know you're a keyboard player, Tim.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
You know that? Yeah.
Yeah, well,
thanks.
we know that. The viewers don't.
Yeah.
But you actually play drums as well, don't you?
I do. I started off as wanting to be a drummer.
Yep.
But I had always learned piano, so
Yep.
that was probably going to be where I'm always going to get back to, because I
Yeah.
was never a fantastic drummer.
Yeah.
I just loved it.
Well, that leads into my next question: is what was a turning point in your life that made you start playing an instrument? Was it the drums, or was it keyboards for you first?
It was probably drums,
Yeah.
but that's, I think, a typical thing. I had a guitar and stuff, but I couldn't really play it that well. Was a bit lazy. And also I did have that piano thing going on, so I'd started in the late 70s, synthesizers were becoming really
Yeah.
amazing. And so I actually went and bought one. And then, but drums still became like that passion thing. So I remember parents had gone, and I went outside, hot-wired the car, put the keyboard in and traded it in for a set of Perspex clear drums,
Wow.
right, which I'd seen in the shop. And my parents had bought me the keyboard, and so when they came back from their 2-week
They weren't
holiday,
impressed.
yeah, well, many questions were asked, but then I just loved it. I really loved it. And
Did you know at that time that drummers didn't get as many girls as keyboard players, or was that obviously you didn't?
no, drummers did.
Did they?
Yeah, keyboard players, no.
No.
But I didn't get any anyway, so it didn't matter. So
Oh man. Okay, we won't go there. So, your first band in 1976 was called Edison, and I've got written here Canberra, but my producer obviously can't spell. At the age of 16, so that was progressive rock.
yeah,
Original.
I entered. There was an ad in the paper, and
Yeah.
I thought I'd like to try and do this sort of thing. And I had the keyboard. This was the keyboards at the time.
Yeah.
And because I'm playing with all these sounds, I started getting right into it. And there was this weird prog rock band. It was a garage band thing. It never
Yeah.
really eventuated. And they were a bit older than I was. And then we moved.
Okay.
Simple as
So you
that.
just blew everything.
Yeah, I was huge arguments with my father. I'm staying here. You're not. You're coming back. And we moved to Perth. And so I was dragged kicking and screaming to Perth.
Yeah.
And immediately sold a keyboard and started auditioning for drums. And it might change again.
Yes. Okay.
But anyway, so look, I auditioned in Perth when we got here for a few bands. I think they were, me not knowing the scene at all, I auditioned for like really well-known high-profile bands, and I was this like 16-and-a-half-year-old kid. And I remember distinctly this guy looking me in pity the bass player looking me down with this pity, and I just knew I'd have to lower my expectations. So I ended up joining another band, a bunch of guys, which I still play in a band with every now and then, who's a member of the Frames.
Yeah.
And we were only about 17.
That was called Iceman?
Yeah, we sort of formed a band with Iceman, and we sort of did a few school socials and stuff like that. It was great. You know, it was really great days back then.
And then I think that's when I met you, because I was a rep for Australia's Music, Derek Oaten, and I think you got an apprenticeship with Bob Armstrong at Premier Piano.
That's right. Well, I went to go to school when I came here to finish my final year, but I went to get a job summer holidays and applied there, and they said, well, we haven't got anything for here, but you've got a full-time apprentice piano tuner if you want. The guy just left. So I thought about it, and I thought, yeah, okay. So I did that, and did it for 3 years.
Yep.
Tough, hard work.
Yeah.
Stripping, ripping. I know everything about pianos.
Wow.
And
stood you in good stead, obviously, as well.
Well, I think so. I mean, but I never actually really learned how to tune it properly.
Okay.
Yeah, I just could do everything else, but he never really taught me that bit.
Yeah, yeah. So Iceman became the News in 1979. Who was in that band?
Well, we had the band, and we decided that we were playing a lot of Led Zeppelin stuff, and we thought, well, we weren't getting that many gigs, and the trend was getting in new wave stuff was becoming popular, and a couple of problems with some of the members. So Clint and I decided that we'd sort of put an ad out there and see what was happening. So we got Dean. I have to go back a bit. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah,
go back a bit.
Yeah, because I was playing drums in the band.
Oh,
right?
why?
Yeah, I was playing drums in the band, and we had a keyboard player who was not cutting it. So we advertised for another keyboard player. I couldn't get him. There was none around. And so heaps of drummers. So I decided, okay, I'll start playing keyboards, and we got this guy called Max, who's now the drummer from Frames. And then we got Mark Donahue and Dean Denton applied, who's in this band called McLeod, who I'd never heard of, but apparently was pretty famous.
I went and saw them at the Balgarine.
Right, oh, very famous.
Even John Webster was in that band.
I believe so, yeah. Funnily enough, I remember John Webster coming into Premier Pianos because I knew him from as a high-profile keyboard. And when I was working at Premier Pianos, this guy came in with his Yamaha CP 70 grand piano thing. And I'm thinking, God, this guy's a real rock star. Wow, that's really, wow.
He was.
I was privileged to have him walking into this shop. Anyway, so from that, we then formed this band called The News. We had a manager, I can't remember who was managing us at the time, but it was Carrinup Tavern was our first gig there. And it was really good. We hit it off. There was a bit of a vibe happening there, and started getting the gigs a few around, and became quite serious. And I'm trying to think why we had to change the name. Oh, we sacked the manager, and he kept the name, so we had to come up with a name. And I think Des Jose or someone was looking after us, or someone came up and said, "You've got to come up with a name, boys." Dean was he was a tradie at the time, building houses, putting in window frames.
Call ourselves the Frames.
Frames, that's how it came about.
Perfect. So the Frames were so popular, obviously you left your day jobs.
That's right. I remember we all decided, I remember the week where we were all going to leave our jobs, and I did that.
And notoriously, the talk of the town at that time was you all bought cars for
not then. No, not then. We were just grateful to be not having I remember going surf caddying on a Friday lunchtime, and everyone had day jobs, and we're going surf caddying, looking at all the city skyline and stuff, thinking, you poor bastards. But and how lucky we were.
Yeah.
And that just kept going up and up.
Yeah. You won the Battle of the Bands. Please Listen to Me, you recorded, which was a hit single in Perth, wasn't it?
It was. First time you see it go to number one, and then you start. It doesn't get number one anymore, and you go, oh, it's really sad.
You only go down from number one.
Oh, I know. It's like I feel for Justin Bieber and all those guys.
Yeah. So Frames took off as the hotel scene became massive, as we all know. Full house signs everywhere, and life was pretty good.
It was a bit of a party thing going on, but at the same time we were pretty serious. We really, we knew that was Perth, and that was it. It was a small town. We were big, but we really wanted to crack Eastern States, and so we were really big on writing and rehearsing that part.
I remember we used to make all our money in the hotels, then spend it all touring over east.
That's exactly
I think I saw you guys over there at different times.
Yeah, we did a lot of money over there, but we had to, and I'm glad we did.
Yeah.
It really opens your eyes up.
Yeah.
And we were fortunate enough to have enough money to do that without, being devastated.
Yeah.
But it really, I learned a life experience from doing all of that. And we had great gigs, Queensland, Great Keppel Island at the time, with a resident band there for a couple of weeks.
It was living the life.
Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah.
And we all great mates too, we always socialised together.
Yeah.
Or, when we had a holiday, we all went on holiday together. It's just crazy.
Very crazy for a band.
Well, I mean, we just didn't have any mates really.
Yeah.
Apart from us.
Yeah.
Well, maybe I didn't, but everyone else did.
Well, I think you were all pretty much nearly married by that stage, or had girlfriends. A long time,
that was pretty much the demise of the Frames. Well, not demise, but it was funny how everyone started to get relationships around that time.
Yeah.
And I actually got married after we'd finished,
Yeah. So you finished in 84?
Around 84, I think it all sort of came to a stop.
I've got some small fine print here that says, same time as V Capri arrived.
Bit of an overlap there, yeah.
Bit of an overlap. Okay, so it is true that you had to buy, was it RX-7s?
No,
sports cars?
It was a lot of money we were earning as kids. And look, we were kids. I didn't have a comprehension of how much money we had. We had a manager and we were just getting paid a wage. And then our manager said to us, look, you guys, we've got a tax problem. We're going to have to sort this out. You guys got to go lease cars, right? Up to, at the time would have been equivalent to probably about 80 grand now. And so for 21-year-old guys to go and say, go and buy an 80 grand car, choose it.
We were all jealous, Tim. Definitely.
I'm happy about that. Because I was pretty happy. It was great because, at that age, cars are what it's about, really.
Yeah.
It's your personality and everything. That's how you...
There you go.
How you think. But, and so we did that, and I really don't know how we're all alive.
Yeah.
Having these crazy cars like that,
And what?
Well, we're doing country gigs in them. And so we're all driving down there in these turbo cars, and, roads aren't what they are now.
Exactly. Yeah.
And we used to drive to Albany, play the gig, drink, and drive back.
Yeah. It's funny, isn't it, that when you look back on all of this?
Yeah. It's amazing we're here.
Yeah. Oh, well, thank God we are. So Clint, Don and Tim, yourself, form a band called Egypt with Murray Preston.
That's right.
86.
Yes, that's right. We decided after the band had finished that we'd do this other one, and was trying to do the electro-pop thing. I liked it, but it didn't click. It just didn't. Synergy wasn't there. Audiences wasn't there. Absolutely not. So it's I don't really have an answer to that, why, but it just didn't work. And it's a real interesting thing how certain teams just seem to click and obviously perceive that magic to an audience that like to want to go and see that. It didn't for that.
Yeah. Okay, you joined The Kind. Boyd Wilson started a lawnmower round. So you...
Well, after Egypt really sunk us, like money-wise. We put so much money into advertising that we were actually completely in debt. And so we had... and then I got married, so...
that'll put you in debt, for sure.
Well, I couldn't even go on the dole because my wife at the time was working, so, you just couldn't do that. So, and so I had to do something, and it was very grounding. And Dean, he said, look, Dean was working for landscaping. He said, I can get you this job if you want.
Wasn't Max also doing lawn mowing?
No, he did it after, I think. But Dean was doing the landscaping thing because he's always had that building background. And so I did that. And that was extremely grounding, getting up at 7 o'clock in the morning and manual labour, brick paving and all of that
I
stuff.
think that's when I was on the surf cat going, look at those bastards
That's
working.
right, come crashing down. But look, you just have to look at that stuff and think, that was, it was really necessary. Because you have responsibility, you have a mortgage. I had a mortgage, we all bought houses, you see, which is...
Kids come along.
Kids came along and you get a nice work ethic as well. So you suddenly have to work, get up at 7.
Yep.
You can't faff around because you've got all these tradie big blokes around. They're trying to talk to you about music and stuff, and you're just trying to survive and trying to not faint,
Yes. Hang on, I'll just mow this bit of lawn. But, grass.
I think we mowed your lawn at one point.
Yeah, I remember booking you for... Yeah. So.
We were cheap.
Yeah, you were. And the service was good.
And the producer's lawn. I think we mowed most musos' lawns.
Yes. Well, that's what you do. You've got connections so there's lots of grass around in those days. So The Kind. Tell me about The Kind and who was in The Kind.
Kind was a great band. They went through a bit of an evolution, but I think I was in the last one of the last ones. And that was with Boyd and another guitarist at the time. I can't remember his name, Boris or something.
Boris, I think I took over from Boris.
You took over from Boris, yeah. But it was a great fun band. Doing that glam 70s stuff was great. And
good musicians as well.
Really
the
good
drummer,
musicians.
I can't remember the drummer's name.
Can't remember him. He's a really laid back guy.
Yeah.
Really solid. And Carl.
Yeah, Carl Pink, obviously.
Carl Pink. That's my
Denise.
first meeting with him.
Yeah.
And Denise. And it was great stuff. That was really fun. And but that ended up folding.
Yeah.
And then Denise and myself and Carl, we decided to form a trio, and we called it Third Party.
Yep.
And we played. That was the first moment of when pubs started becoming crafty.
Yeah.
What do they call it? Boutique pubs, right?
So booking smaller bands.
Yeah, and so we slotted right in there. We did that, and we had I worked really hard in doing those backing tapes, and I really honed my craft in whole sequencing and stuff like that.
Which helped you in the future.
Correct,
we'll get onto that.
So I started getting into the electronic sequencing, and I really loved all that, really heaps. And so we did that, and we were playing at the places like the Queens, and big. It was good crowds, good reactions, and it was great playing with those guys. And then, of course, I think I can't remember how we got the offer for joining
we're doing The Kind. We're doing Herdsman. We're putting.
We must have been doing. We were doing both at the same time.
Yeah, and then I think Paul Redman and Michael Parks come and asked me, you and Carl to join the night after, or join the night after at Gobbles.
Correct.
Yeah. That went for quite some time, and
that's right.
That was fun.
That was nuts.
Yeah. We didn't get to buy RX-7s, but...
I was doing frames. Frames had started again.
Yeah, that's right.
So we doing at the Herdsman. We do it every Saturday night. So I'd do...
We'd have to get Carl to play keyboards until you got there.
8:30, and I'd arrive at 12:30.
That's right.
In a panel van, drive up in the gear, lug it up the stairs, and then play till 4.
Yeah.
And then that was every weekend. Yeah. And that kept going, and then I decided that I saw an ad in the paper to hone your keyboard skills.
Yes.
And I thought, do I really need to? I'm pretty good, And so I thought, I'll go along. Just out of curiosity, I'm joking, of course. But at the time, I thought, I'm playing in all these bands, I must be okay.
Yeah.
And then I went and I met this guy. I went to an audition I had to audition for it.
Yeah.
Thinking, I'm in the Frames. I don't need to audition for anything like that. And I went, and it was at Whopper, which is the Con back then they were called it, and there was Keith Van Gazel and all these musicians there. And
real musicians,
as I found out very quickly.
Yes.
And then I got lessons of Keith Van Gazel.
Yep.
For 12 weeks.
I remember you playing at Gobbles because you were doing that, you're doing the frames, and you were studying in between.
Yes, well, the Keith Van Gazel opened my own mind up to this jazz piano thing, which I never really understood. And then I said, should I do this WAPA course, con course, which is like was a lot of people doing it, and others going, no. And I eventually decided to do it, and it was the hardest thing I reckon I've done.
I remember you just about falling asleep.
Well, because I stopped drinking. I didn't drink for 2 years.
Yeah.
And I studied and played at gobbles.
Yeah.
And I had a 2-year-old.
Yeah.
A mortgage.
Yes.
Everything like that. So I had to do it, and got through it. And it was one of the hardest things, but managed to do it through. And then after that, we went to, what was that? After that, it was about 94 or something like that.
You joined a ska band because you left us, and we ended up getting Johnny Calabrese.
That's right.
Phil,
Sue Bluck.
Yeah.
I think I came back once.
Yeah, you did. You came back and then went again, and I think you played with Ross Avens, Neil Diamond.
I did a Neil Diamond tribute for a year.
Have you seen Ross around? Is he still?
No, I think he's Bunbury.
Is he? Okay.
But I see him every now and then, on Facebook and stuff.
Yeah.
But that was a really great fun.
Yeah.
I don't know why. It was one of those little magic moments, like right timing. You hit that. We were playing the Swamble Hotel, packed, but obviously a lot of kids had listened to their parents' albums, and it just touched a nerve, and he really played the part.
Where it began.
And I never really got into Neil Diamond at all.
Oh, it's good.
But and they're very simple things, but beautiful songs to play and stuff, and energy. It was great.
So you've been reasonably lucky, like always something's come up for you.
Yeah.
And you obviously make your own luck, and you're a good player, so.
Well, I think it's about just, was it 95%? It's just turning up.
Yes, turning up. You can always count on Tim to turn up. But hello, Tom Tapping, O'Connor's, CY O'Connor's, 1995, I think. I've got that written here.
Don't know how that worked, actually. I don't know how that came about. I think Tom...
I think him and Greg Garbellini.
We were working at Cosmic Sound.
Yeah, we were working at Cosmic. Yeah.
So that's...
Well, we haven't talked about... This is not even in my notes.
It's not even there, no, is it?
No.
Well, that was another way I honed my craft in the whole electronic
we used to work
stuff.
part-time, both of us, 3 days a week, wasn't
That's
it?
right.
Or something like that. And
you were on more money than I was, though, per hour, I reckon.
I went and took John to lunch and said, I want $18 an hour, otherwise I'm leaving. You should have done the same thing.
Oh, no, I was just... I've got to be careful what I say here. What did I think? I always had a plan. I used Cosmic, and all respect to John and all that.
Yeah.
I really loved working there. It was a great place to work. But I had a plan of that. It was using Cosmic as a means to work out the best gear to get for my up-and-coming studio that I was going to have.
Yeah. Oh, it was a great plan, because we'll talk about your studio in a minute. So next you auditioned for Diesel. What happened when you auditioned for Diesel?
Auditioned, I heard the Yak Sherritt put me in, not Yak, his brother, Paul. Paul put me in touch because he was doing sound for it, I think. Or no, he was doing sound for Jimmy Barnes. And he said, look, Diesel was putting together a band together, and Yak's in the band. And so I gave Yak a call and applied for this audition, and they said, yeah, come over. So I was I remember getting on the Red Eye did a gig on the Wednesday night, got on the Red Eye that night, and woke up in Sydney, went for the audition, but I was just I think I was just really daggy, I had daggy clothes. These Sydney guys, they were really cool. They were, and I just felt so out of place. And I don't, and also I probably didn't learn the songs properly, or I didn't have the right gear. Vintage gear was starting to come in, have the proper Rhodes and organ stuff, and I had digital stuff, and it was not, I can make all the excuses. I was obviously not right for it. And I was pretty devastated about it, I have to say. But again, you need those grounding things to slam you back down.
Well, they say that you make mistakes and you learn from them, and if you don't make any mistakes, you don't learn anything.
But it hurt every time I saw those bloody heard a Diesel song. Saw a film clip. Oh, that could be me.
Oh.
Who was the guy? The guy that got us great though.
Yeah.
He was ex-Divinals player.
So 93. Let's move away from that.
Okay.
Because that's not good. 93 advertising agency. That was.
Well, I joined. Well, after I graduated,
Yeah.
Keith and I decided we'd do this thing because we were both. He was a session player for a lot of the
very
stuff.
positive, wasn't it?
Oh, he
Yeah,
was a great session player, and he thought, well, rather than me getting paid for all these sessions, well, let's just do it. We could probably do this because I was really excelled at the electronic music part of the con, and he hopefully he saw that, and so not only they got me back to lecture that stuff, we sort of formed a business together, and it was like, when I think back, we were just totally brutal in our cold calling, absolute confidence, bravado, going up. Everyone's going, good luck with that one. You're never going to be able to do that because you're up against the likes of Kevin Peake and
Mr. Spencer.
Trevor. Well,
Trevor,
well, that was with Kevin Peake and Chevin, and also the King, which was Kenny Walter. And so we were up against those people, and we didn't really have the gear because they had access to these multi.
We didn't get the Eagles song because Kenny Walter did that. Where the Eagles?
Yeah. Well, Keith played on that, you see.
Yeah.
And so we did that, and we just cold called, and we got one, and then we got another, and it sort of just kept going.
Just build it like that.
Oh, yeah.
And it became very successful.
Well, we worked out of Keith's house for a while, and then we actually leased a place at the Hyatt Hotel on the Plaza level, because we started getting a lot of Asian clients, right? And so they'd come and stay at the Hyatt, and then they just walk down to our studio, and then we do it. And that the lease was becoming crazy expensive, and then we ended up getting a place in Subiaco, and I've still got it.
Yeah, I've got many tapes into you from there. So your big break in life, really, when you look at your life, and this is only probably my producer's opinion, you joined Mag 7. I mean, the big break, 1996. You played banjo on keyboard.
Yeah.
Well, that must have been the ultimate for you, playing banjo on keyboard.
It was a while to learn how to do that, but I just thought it was the most hilarious thing ever.
Pretty sure I remember you doing some of that at Gobbles, like maybe you sort of honing your skills, waiting for Al to give you the call up or something.
Maybe. I don't know. Yeah. No, there was no crossover of Mag 7 and Gobbles, was it?
No, but I'm saying you honed your skills with like Tiny Tim and all those.
Oh, yeah. Okay, because we played anything.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, no, we did.
Yeah.
Those Gobbles days were great, though,
yeah.
with a lot of those great Australian artists playing with them.
Yeah.
But yeah, Mag 7 was definitely good fun.
So you did Tamworth. Can you talk to me about tubular cowbells? I was going to say cockbells. I think you were robbed of a golden guitar. Is that the story? Can you tell me about that?
We're Instrumental of the Year, nominated in the finals.
It was called Tubular Cowbells.
Tubular Cowbells. So it was a play on Tubular Bells, the Mike Oldfield song, where he brings in, a lot of orchestral and contemporary instruments like electric guitar, bass guitar, tubular bells.
So you would say what, cow, sheep, or...
No, well, we'd have banjo, fiddle.
Oh, okay.
And country music instruments, so and this great electric guitar riff, ding 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 ding.
Greg Bird, I think, played that.
No,
for
it was
me
Jason Smith.
But Greg Bird did play it for me when I interviewed him here.
Oh, did?
Yeah. So I don't know. He must have
put some. I think we had everybody on it. We had Ian Simpson, banjo.
Great banjo player. Yeah.
And it was a sort of pretty funny song. It was like pretty good playing on it and stuff like that. And then it was in the finals, and then someone else obviously complained.
About what?
And it was disqualified.
Why?
Because it was not classed as an instrumental, because during the song, as each instrument...
Banjo.
Correct. Each instrument was introduced by a...
Yeah, like Tubular Bells was.
Electric guitar.
Yes. Mike Oldfield, wasn't
Not an instrumental.
No.
So that's what it was.
So you got...
Robbed. Appealed.
I don't know.
High court.
I feel very depressed all of a sudden. Because there's one thing that, Al can't skite about is having a golden guitar.
Came close.
For everything else.
Yeah. But it was still, going to Tamworth was an eye-opener for me as well. Another
experience. So, okay, Frames reunions. back to the frames. You've got one each year. You've
Yeah,
had
we
one each year for quite some years now, haven't you?
Yeah. We did it when...
Rake in the quick million once a year.
No.
and
No, we did it at Dean. We stopped playing, and then Dean got diagnosed, and then we thought we'd get back together again as a bit of a fundraiser thing. And it was just so good that we just kept going and doing it.
I'll tell you, I'd love to get Dean on the show.
Yeah.
He's one person
I'm
I'd
sure.
love to interview.
I'm sure we can organise something.
Good. If you can organise it, that would be great. So, is there one coming up soon? Or
We've got one in October.
Yep.
We do one generally around that time.
Yeah.
And we may rehearse.
Oh, you and rehearsals does not go in the same sentence, because I've tried to get you to rehearsals on a few occasions.
It is
It
an
never
effort.
works.
I prefer rehearsing by myself.
Yeah, I know. I've experienced this, but you do always turn up and play.
See, the problem is, I know, because it's everyone else that mucks it up. That's the problem.
Okay, no worries. So, docos and films I've got written here. Tell me about docos and films.
Well, that's been really since I've been in the music.
Yeah.
That's all I've wanted to do. I've always wanted to do that as a to do film music, and I absolutely love it.
So are you currently doing some? Or
I just finished one recently. It was for Foxtel, and it's a big history on the History Channel.
Yeah.
It's 4 one-hour episodes on the history of...
what is that called?
It's called End of Empire.
Yeah.
And another one called Turning Point.
Yeah.
Based on Hitler and Stalin,
Yeah.
Churchill, and what in their lives made them turn from innocent children to the people that they became. And it was fascinating. And so I not only love the knowledge about it, putting a score to it was great. And I don't know, I think as probably a typical keyboard player in a band, they're in the back, they're not the sort of front. Same as film. You're in the sort of background, you add to the emotion of it. And I love telling the story with music.
Fantastic.
Like that. That's just what I do.
Wow.
And even like doing soundtracks for ads and things like that.
So have you always been like history? You've always enjoyed history and that sort of way? Or?
Not really.
No?
I mean, I do. I enjoy it.
I love it. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's not a passion.
No.
I wouldn't go and study it, but I like to use history as a means of learning about what's going to happen next, because everything is a cycle.
Yeah. True. So 2009, our good friend Zach rings you for...
Yes, Zach
an
and
orchestra?
Roy, he asked me if I'd be interested in doing putting together an orchestra for a tour with, I think it was one of Zach's first ventures into the promotion. And he had this plan of doing an Australian rock symphony for Chrissy Amphlett and Diesel and Baby Animals.
So you finally got to play with Diesel?
I finally got to play with Diesel, yeah.
Funny how things come around.
But and that was amazing. Like, it was super pressure. I learned a lot from that.
Yeah.
One of the highlights, I was playing with the drummer from Chrissy Ampflett's band, Charlie Drayton. It's you meet these people in your life, and he was truly inspirational. Yeah. As a person, as a musician.
Wow.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Chrissy's no longer with us.
No, it was not for long after that. And I was not a really huge Divinals fan, but apparently, being on stage with her and seeing the audience,
it's pretty awesome.
The charisma
is
just
so much energy, isn't there? Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Still get goosebumps thinking about it.
Yeah, amazing performer. So I've got Whopper written wrongly, W-A-P-P-A, but I know it's W-A-A-P-A. Don't know why he's written this, but maybe you can tell
Well, I
us.
still have a big part there. I still lecture there, and I now look after some what they call music artists, so up-and-coming songwriters, and I teach them about... I take a couple of their bands.
So you're in the Vinny section where you get to experiment a bit with the...
Teach them about music production.
Yeah,
and I really love it. I just love it because I can teach them, but what I love doing is just showing them, this is the tools, go for it. This is what you can do. I'll get you started, and just I actually
watching them progress, and
I actually learn more half the time off them than what they like. keep that to yourself.
Well, they're obviously going to watch it because you're going to tell them that you're on the show.
No, but I mean, it's just fascinating to see because, you know, we've been through the whole, you know, decades of music production.
Yes.
And you see new slants on it, and it's same tools, and the tools anyone can do it these days, and these kids can still do it, and they do an amazing job. And it often astounds me how, geez, are we going to run out of music? But
no,
each one's individual and unique, and it's something new and fresh.
Yeah, I often talk to Vinny about it, and he gets such a kick out of obviously, and you know, obviously we rehearse there in some bands, and it's like Vinny sitting up there. It's like we're all the kids. we're rehearsing songs, and he sort of sits up there and says, "No, you play it like this."
Yeah,
hang on, I'm the guitar player. No, it's all good. That's a real feather in your cap because you get to see them grow.
Yeah,
and you know.
And every now and then I get get them involved in some of the projects I do, and that gives them a real kick into the real world. And hopefully they'll. And I still think that I feel positive about it. I still think so. There's so much passion still out there.
Yeah.
And I think there is still going to be. I feel there's a revolution coming on.
Yeah. What? Yeah. We're going to be playing live bands in pubs?
I think so. I reckon because it's becoming a little bit too AI, computerised, formulaic, and I think there's a room, like the punk rock thing happened in the 70s.
Yeah.
I think there's going to be something that's going to...
revolution. Don't know whether we could be playing punk rock at our age anyway.
Well, no, not punk rock, but it would be something.
So, okay, what was your biggest influence from a band or a musician?
Look, I can't really... you know what? I cannot put it... You know what, I probably have to say, and I'd feel a bit funny about it, it's probably Countdown.
Countdown?
Yeah.
As the program?
As the program.
Yeah. Well, that's a great answer because that's what we all grew up on.
When you think about like it, I just loved it, watching that. And loved to be there when I was in Canberra.
Yeah, so that festered and, you know, obviously gave
a lot
you
to answer
excitement.
for.
Yeah. I think for a lot of people. So, other jobs throughout your life apart from lawn mowing, did you have any, or was it really just cosmic?
Yeah, they're just the cosmic things. I've been really blessed that I can always have, you know, the lawn mowing round thing was great, and I do like that. It's a real escape for me.
You were cutting grass for other people.
It's right. But it was a grounding thing.
Yeah.
But I still had...
You were pushing the mower along.
Yes, on the ground, mate. Yes, I can keep coming.
So, you know, have you got a favourite band of all time, or
not really?
No. Okay.
I look a little bit from everyone.
Okay.
Yeah.
See if you can answer this question. If you were stranded on a deserted island, what album would you take with you?
It's an easy one to say, a certain answer, but I would probably. Only because I reckon I could listen to it and find something different. I'd probably say Beethoven's Seventh Symphony.
Wow.
The Pastoral Symphony.
Yeah.
It's one of those very moving things which I can listen to over and over and again. Because that's the thing. It doesn't matter how good it is.
Yeah.
You'll get sick of it eventually.
Yeah.
Whereas that I don't reckon I would. It'd take a long time.
It's a great answer because you're stranded on a deserted island for a long time. you need to have something you're not going to get sick of.
That's it.
Yeah. So, what was your favourite TV show when you were growing up?
Well, probably things like Doctor Who.
Yep.
Goodies.
Right.
And probably Countdown.
Cool. Okay. Any unfulfilled ambitions?
I'd still like to do a big feature film.
Yeah.
That would be great. And it's still possible.
Yeah, I think you're going to do one.
Well, hopefully. And also, I would have loved, and I'm just probably too lazy. I would have loved to have been a great bebop jazz pianist.
Okay.
I think that would have been awesome.
Unfulfilled ambitions.
It is an unfulfilled. It'd be great, but I just don't have probably the talent. It is definite talent.
I think you definitely have the talent.
Well, you'd have to Well, okay, I'm lazy then. I don't.
Yeah.
I can't put the 8 hours a day to do.
Okay, viewers, you've heard it from the horse's mouth. He's lazy. Look, sorry, Tim, I was only joking. Look,
That's cool, yeah.
I know you're not. Do you collect anything?
Yeah, not really. I have a very transient lifestyle.
Yeah.
I like to say I like to collect cash, but I don't really actually bloody hold it much longer. That's the only problem. No, I don't.
No, well, you can't. Cash you can't take with you anyway, mate.
No, that's right. No, look, no, I don't really have anything. I can't say I do.
Okay.
At all.
Yep.
No.
What would you put on your gravestone?
Dial before you dig. No. No, mate,
That's the first time I've heard that. No, that's good. That's good. That is great. Dial before you dig. I'll take that. You know.
No, I actually want to be frozen. There's a new technique. You get frozen,
Yeah.
absolutely like completely frozen, and then you like liquid nitrogen stuff, broken down into little powder, put into a dryer thing to get all the liquid out, put into a little tablet, buried 600 centimetres under the ground, and you put a tree on top. And it's that big.
Well, you wouldn't want a musician to do that because he'd probably snort the powder before it even got into the pill form and get it. So mention Steve, the father-in-law. Right now, Steve, your father-in-law.
Yes.
Apparently he watches every episode. God, that's a lot of time out of his life. So I didn't know people did that. But
Steve's a great muso from the past.
Yep.
And so he's got a passion for the
What
Perth
was
music
his
industry.
last name?
Steve O'Mara.
Steve O'Mara.
Yeah.
And what did he play?
Oh, he was a drummer.
Yep.
Yep. And he remembers, he reminisces about all the days back then before the big pub days.
Do you remember any bands he played with? Or
You really put me on the spot now.
mate,
I'm sure
that's
he's
your
told me many
father-in-law. You
times.
don't listen to your father-in-law when he talks to you. Come on, Tim.
He did tell me.
Steve, I'm really sorry about this if you're watching. And, apparently you watch every episode.
Mate, I'm so sorry. But I know you said they weren't huge, so
Oh, look, I'm sure he'll be happy just getting a mention. And
no, look, yeah, he's really passionate about it. We have great yarns about the industry.
Obviously, you remember all of those yarns. So.
No, I didn't, except the band name. No, he'll come to all of our gigs.
Yeah,
We're playing at a rodeo soon. I'm thinking about taking...
A rodeo?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good fun.
Yeah.
See, when you're playing Mag 7, there's no one gets angry. It's just... I don't know why.
What do you mean?
Or it's never any aggro. At a Mag 7 gig.
Oh, you mean in the audience?
In the audience,
It's just on the stage.
Oh, on the stage is aggro, yeah. No, in the audience, everyone's happy.
All
It's
right.
a very funny thing.
Yeah. Okay, I won't go there. Look, is there anyone... I need to ask this question, right? You be quiet. Is there anyone you may have forgot that we haven't talked about, or someone you want to mention, or someone you think should be on the profile?
Oh, look, I think family are always important,
Yeah.
thing to say. I mean, that's one thing as a muso. Like, a lot of people think, I'm going to go and make it in Sydney and all that stuff. But, I mean, I could never do it. I just couldn't, because I'd have to leave them, and I couldn't do that.
Yeah.
I've never been able to do that. I remember years ago, Greg Green offered me a gig, said there was a gig going for the keyboard player for Divinals back in the 80s. But my son was just born, and so I just couldn't do it.
Yeah.
And
Maybe that's why you didn't get the diesel
probably.
thing, because you flew all the way over there, but really in your heart of hearts you didn't want to be there. You wanted to be at home.
Could be it.
And I think a lot of people I've interviewed have said, we have world-class musicians here, no doubt, and I've interviewed many of them, including yourself, but maybe we've had it too good here as well.
As a lifestyle?
Yeah,
Yeah,
lifestyle,
absolutely.
family, and
and
it's a long way from anywhere, isn't it? So
it's not as if you can flip back and forward. If you're in Sydney and you're touring, you can easily...
Exactly. Yeah.
But Perth, it's a big move to actually go on tour.
Yeah, it is. Look, while we're talking about it, viewers, please don't forget to subscribe to our channel on YouTube, www.theprofile.com.au. We love your comments, and let us know who you think we should interview. We have a list of about 300 or 400 at the moment, but we're trying to get through them. So anything else you want to say, Tim? Or?
No, Gary, I think it's great that you do this.
Thank you.
I hope it continues.
Yeah. Oh, I've got to say, Mark Whitehouse from ProCopy and
Of course.
Alan Simpson, our producer, endless hours of work. He rang me the other day, just complaining. I don't know, there's someone coughing here. He rang me the other day just complaining about how much work he does and covers for us all, and you know, we don't really do much. I just sit here, interview people, and you know, so.
Well, can you make? There's a bit of lack of drink and food.
Yes.
Here though.
It's called budget.
Yeah, it's called budget. Yeah.
Don't have one.
Look, and my biggest mention has got to be for Strawny, this guy over here who's
Strawny.
been coughing and
Oh, the
trying to-
cameraman.
Yeah, the cameraman. I mean,
And director.
yeah, and no one is ever going to see Strawny. It's not because he's too ugly to be put on camera, which could be said, but it's because he's an enigma, really. Oh, Strawny, aren't you?
I think it's getting close. He's going to make an appearance.
You think so?
Yeah.
He stopped his chair from squeaking with the WD-40. Thanks, mate, for coming in. Thanks for
great.
hanging in there, and really appreciate your stories, and good luck to you in the future, mate.
Thanks, Gary. Good man.
Cheers.
All
Thank you
the
very
best.
much. That's it for this week on The Profile. Mr. Tim Count. See you next week.
In the hours of the light, you lock yourself inside, waiting for the dark when it's easier to hide. You're always in a world of your own. No radio, no TV, no phone. You were like a shadow in the night. I know that you
At ProCopy, we can transfer audio to CD, make CD, DVD and Blu-ray copies, transfer video to DVD, Blu-ray or HD, digitise slides and photos and supply custom USBs. You can see more details at procopy.com.au or call us on 08 9375 3902 for more information.